Welcome to the Profit Talks podcast, hosted by the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC Network, funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. This show is the go-to resource for business owners seeking empowerment, education, and resources to succeed. Join us as we connect you with experts, share the triumphs of fellow entrepreneurs, and reveal the wealth of assistance available to you today to level up your business. So let's go. Let's dive in and learn more. Well, we're going to learn a lot. Today is a sweet story. It really is in a lot of different ways. It's a story of entrepreneurship. It's a story of discovering a new flavor. It's discovering a new path forward for a young entrepreneur and his family here. And above all else, it talks about my favorite food, which is chocolate here. So welcome, if you will, to our show. Luis Sanchez. Did I get that right?
Sanchez.
Luis Sanchez, there. You did what all of us dream of. This is the Christmas season. We're all talking about cookies and desserts and chocolate and all that. Somehow that seems to ring true in the holiday spirit here. You live this. You're like Santa Claus. You get to make you're Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory here. You created a business called the Chocolate Bar out in, is it Ontario? Is that where the first one is?
Yes, it is in the city of Ontario.
And not only has that succeeded, you've now opening a second one in Highland. Not many people get to that point here. Congratulations on your success here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I look at you and I say, is this really a chocolatier? Is this a guy that studied how to make chocolate in France or knew a lot? It doesn't sound like it. You kind of came into this from a whole different area. Talk a little bit about that journey, how you started in, I guess you worked for a company that distributed fruits and nuts and other sorts of things, right?
Yes. Mainly the journey that I have with my family, because this is a family-owned business.
Okay.
Run, by my wife, my two kids. I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. They've been involved since the first day with the business.
We're going to talk a lot about that because that's not easy, having a family business, keeping the wife happy, keeping the kids happy, keeping everybody. Maybe it's your passion. It may not be everybody's passion here, but you've turned it into a special treat for everybody here. So we're going to talk about that. So, but you and your wife had nothing to do with chocolate or desserts. You're just working for a company that distributed fruit and nuts to like big people like Cisco Foods and stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. We started working on the food industry because we needed a job. My wife started with this company, helping them on the accounting part of the company. She has a background studying, accounting, and she was hired. And then ended that I was with no job at that time, and she kind of say, I'm going to talk to my boss to see if they have any positions for you at the company. So ended that I started with this company in 2009.
And what did you do for the company? What position? She was in accounting. What did you do?
She was in accounting, and then I have the privilege to start having an interview with the owner of this corporation, and he was looking for someone who can help him in many different aspects of the company. Everything that he was involved with, was everything, sales, purchasing, customer service, distribution, anything involved
with no background whatsoever in fruits and nuts and food distribution. You came in and got an opportunity to see how the whole business ran. Okay, so that sounds a success story in and of itself. And you did that for a while. This was in Los Angeles?
Yes, in Los Angeles for 10 years. So this person was very kind to me because he helped me to grow and to learn how to kind of knowing about how to run a business.
How to run a business, yeah, right.
But at the end, we decided to move from Los Angeles to the Riverside County, and for us to travel from point to point was very hard. So that's when I talked to my wife and I said, we have to start our own business because we need this now.
And why start your own business? Why not just find another business to work for? You had this, those are transferable skills: accounting, sales, purchasing. You could work for a paper company. You could work for all sorts of companies with those sorts of things. It doesn't matter. It wasn't product specific. You had knowledge you had acquired that I would think would apply to lots of products here.
Well, our situation was we as an immigrants was very hard for us to kind of look for that position on that level because at that time we were kind of getting our documents established with in the country.
Okay.
So, and then also another thing is like I told my wife, you have the experience on the accounting part of the company, and I can do all the other parts like sales, like you know, kind of start establishing relationship with customers and
Then,
the other part of the business. So
right.
she's like, all right. So we start our own brand called Heavily Nuts and Sweets, and we started with this storefront, only 500 feet, a small store,
Right.
and we have the packing of the nuts, the seeds, the dried fruits. We were doing the seasoning because I learned all this through the 10 years. I work with any single department in the company where we're doing the seasoning, the roasting of the nuts, the chocolate, and all that. So I said, we can do that in a small,
So, but you had the sources. You knew where to go get this stuff, but you weren't roasting it yourself. You didn't have a factory or a warehouse where you were packing and preparing the stuff. You're just bringing it in and selling it retail.
exactly. I knew the vendors. I knew I have such a great relationship with many people. So I said I can contact them and get this in a small portion, small pounds. And exactly that's what we did. We started calling them, talking to them about our project, and they say, yeah, of course, come with us. And
And
then
was your ex boss supportive of this, or was he sorry to see you go? And
yes, yes, he was very happy that I decided to do this because he knew that it was an opportunity for us to kind of do our own thing. And he's like, "Yes, it's time for you. I know you
time for
you
you
can
to
have
fly. All right. So,
it."
and where did you come from? What it sounds. I'm gonna guess Mexico, but maybe not. Where?
Yes, I am from Mexico City.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you have it in your family, or did you own restaurants, food background,
Well,
retail
my mom
shop?
used to I kind of bake and do different things to sell when I was little, and I always see her in that atmosphere of trying to please other people through selling food and things like that, right?
Right.
Not informal, always informal, making things at home, but I always see that as an opportunity because um, creating things is my thing. So making things to happen is my thing. So
You say
I
that so
always
casually. That's the part most people can't figure out. They all have an idea, but how do you make it happen? We're going to talk about that. All right. So, how did you happen upon this idea? I get fruits and nuts because you had this background in it. What made you say, wait a minute, let's do a chocolate bar? Let's go in and make a dessert bar. Let's go in and people order, sort of like a bakery, but do they sit down and consume it there, or do they just buy it and leave?
no. They consume, they sit. We have a dining option, but again, coming back to heavily nuts and sweets. So when we decide to establish this and to kind of make sure things are the way we want it with our logo, with everything that is involved, and the color of the bags and everything, we have
Yeah.
everything set at the store. We opened in 2018 in October. By 2000, at the end of the October, I one of my customers, because I was doing sales as well. So one of my customers in Ontario was planning on moving back to his country, and he has this location where we are right now.
Okay.
And he's like, "Well, I'm moving out." He was pretty much doing like Mediterranean food, and he has not a full kitchen, but a kitchen. And he's like, "I'm gonna just leave this space. If
Wow.
you want to, I can just leave it to you because I had such a great relation with my customer." And and I said, "No, you know what? I just recently opened in Riverside County, so I can just move here." It's like, just take the advantage because again, it's something that I have for you just right here,
All
and
set
be
to go. Do something with it. See what you can
here.
turn it. But you
And then
didn't even think about doing a restaurant. How did this concept
no,
come about? How did chocolate bar get
well,
born?
we decide we talk about it. My wife is like, "How are you gonna do that? We just recently opened here,
Yeah.
and you wanna open over there?" And I said, "Well, the thing is, you love chocolate, we love desserts, we love to create things, so we should just combine the two business." And then kind of came with the idea of having a menu and create something. And she's like, "Well, I'm not sure about it, but if you want to do it, let's I can just support you. Just let me know what I need to do."
Out of
And I
nowhere.
said,
I mean, you're telling me that just one moment you woke up and said, all right, there's a restaurant sitting over here. We're in the nut and, packaged nuts and fruits and stuff people buy for the holidays or birthdays or other sorts of things kind of like See's Candy or something. You go and you buy this stuff and you take it home in a box or a bag or something. And all of a sudden you're going to do someplace where people are going to go and hang out. Do you have like coffee? Do you have other beverages
Yes,
and
we do
stuff here?
coffees, we do teas, we do, any kind of drinks like frappuccinos, smoothies, shakes, things like that,
Because I'm
something that,
told, I've never been to France, but I'm told that this is what France looks like. I've even told that in little cafes like this in Mexico City,
yes,
people sit and hang out and have a coffee and have a sweet and tell
and
stories, you know.
have a different options.
Yeah.
So for us was to create a place where people can have an experience. It's not just to go and buy a pastry or buy
Yeah,
coffee.
right.
It's just to have that experience where they can feel welcome, where they can feel like this is an experience for me, and I want to come back because I want to try something different. And that's what it works for us.
So
So
you,
the beginning is like, what are we gonna do? Okay, we love crepes. Crepes are very famous in Mexico. We call it crepas.
okay, I did know that because
Crepas
obviously it's a French dish, but
and
there was
French
a
dish.
very big French influence for a while in Mexico, and Maximilian the Emperor came, and the French ran the country for a little while around the American Civil War. So there is, I don't think people realize there is a French influence in Mexico. Yeah.
Yes, yes, a lot of French influence. So we love it. So it's like we should do our own way to do crepes and our own way to present the crepes to our customers. And besides the chocolates, besides the nuts, besides the candies, and the other options we have, and that's when we start creating this menu of crepes, and then we add, the different items to it. Like, okay, we can do a brownie with ice cream. We can have, a banana covered with chocolate,
Yeah.
and we start adding things to our menu so people can have that
But you're
option.
not a chef. Who's cooking this stuff here? Who's making this stuff here? Your
We
wife's
do.
an accountant. You're a salesman. What do you know about cooking crepes?
We discovered that we can bake, we can cook, because she loves to bake at home. I love to cook at home. So it was easy for us to create things and to have our kids to taste it and to approve, this is great, this tastes great.
So
And then
did you
creating something
I was going to say,
great.
did you base it on anything? Did you go back to Mexico and say, because I guess there are walking, it's just like there is in France, these boulevards, these streets, and people sit outside and drink coffee at a little cafe and discuss the world and hang out with their friends. And usually there's some little sweet pastry involved in sitting there.
Yes.
So did you go back and look at any places? Did you say, let's go visit? Because I don't know, that's not an American tradition. I mean, I suppose coffee shops are now, and they have some little pastries there, but it's minor. The coffee is the major push at Starbucks, not the little pastries they sell. You're making the pastries a big part of this whole thing. It's the chocolate bar.
Yes. Again, we have the option to create something that is unique and people can enjoy it, and come to the store again and try something different, something else. And so that's pretty much what it's the difference between, this big corporation like Starbucks, where you can just go and order your coffee and order your praise and leave. So we have here the option to really really have the experience with the customers, talking to the customers and making them feel like they are part of, us as a family.
And
And that's what
how big is the store? I'm going to guess 1,500 square feet, 2,000. You were only 500 square feet for the other place. It's got to be a little bit
Yeah,
bigger if you
this
got.
one is 2,000. The chocolate bar is 2,000 square feet. Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about two things here. This is sort of a case study. This is an amazing case study. With no background in cooking or food, a background in selling and packaging nuts and fruits instead, your accountant wife and your salesman self here decide we're going to become the connoisseurs of pastry, of crepes, and other little chocolate desserts here. How did you craft a menu? How did
Well,
you?
again, we start by creating one of the crepes one by one, and kind of having a flavor. Our signature crepe is called the chocolate bar. It's
Okay,
a crepe with,
naturally. All right.
you know, with banana, with strawberries, and toasted almonds inside, and
Ooh,
then the crepe, it's all covered with chocolate with that design on top, and then
wow.
some sugar. So people when see this, like, oh, this looks so great, this looks amazing, and then when they taste it, it's like, oh my God, this is just amazing. And then we came across with, creating a strawberry cheesecake crepe, on a
Oh,
small
strawberry
crepe,
cheesecake crepe. You're talking my language here. I love it. Okay.
a brownie crepe. We do have again a savory crepe with ham, turkey, or any other kind of meat. We have a veggie crepe, and our menu start we start adding items through the process, and people give it to taste to customers, and customers like, oh man, this is amazing.
There you
Okay,
go.
add it to the menu. So I start
Crowdsourcing. Here, throw it out to the crowd and see what they say here. All right, so you
exactly.
start inventing this menu, and how do you create an ambiance where they want to stay? Because normally, we're especially in America, in Southern California in particular, we're not used to sort of sitting and dining. We want to dash and go. We want to get it and go. That's our car culture here, our quick culture here. So you're trying to go to more of a European aesthetic, more of the boulevards of Mexico City, and let's stop by, let's slow down, let's have some coffee, let's have some crepes, let's enjoy, sit for a while. Was that hard to get people into that, or do people still just come in and pick it up and go?
In reality, we try to leave our customers with a sense of peace, love, and joy. Because
Okay,
when
that's
when
quite a lot.
people
Do you say that so casually? Boy, I could take a little peace, love, and joy in anything I do. Most places are not peaceful. They're loud and noisy. There isn't much joy. It's okay. What do you want? Who's next? It's a transactional experience. It's not filled with a lot of peace and love and
believe
joy.
it or not, they express, when they come into the store and they feel that. I don't know. It's very difficult to express in a way to have customers coming from the outside, from the noise, from the stress, from whatever they're doing, and then coming into the store and feeling this peace, this joy, and then whenever they sit, kind of like, oh my God, this is so relaxing. Of course, we want to make sure that they have, live happier than
Right.
when they came in. So that's our main aim and our goal. And we are always, very nice, attentive, caring, and telling them, anything they want and they need. So we're there for them. So that's think that one of the things, having the lighting and the decor, because we decor for any season. Like right now, we're changing to Christmas, and we have such a big Christmas tree and
Oh,
making the
I'll
place
bet.
to look,
It, it is
yes,
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something here.
yes.
Well, all right. So you're creating something you've never done before as your first business, and you're creating something brand new that most Americans probably aren't that familiar with. We see Starbucks, but it's still Starbucks. Yes, Starbucks has a sit around kind of feeling, and you could go do your work there, and I think that was part of its success. It wasn't just in and out. But the majority of people, when I go to a Starbucks or any of those places like that, it's pretty much in and out. You line up, you order, maybe you sit for a moment, and then you go. Some people hang around, but you're really trying to get people to hang around and do this well. That would seem to be counterintuitive. You want to crank them out. Let's get the next one, the next one. If they're sitting around, they're taking up space. Hey, I'm trying to sell more people here. Is there a push to turn the tables, as they say in restaurants, to get them in and out quickly so that you can get more people served? Or is that not it doesn't sound like that's the goal here. The goal is to create a place where they want to stay and hang out and come back again and again.
Yeah, and as you're saying, all of us have always something to do. So people goes and they stay for a few minutes and they leave because they needed to leave. It's not because we want them to leave. But at the end, the time that they are inside, they kind of leave that stress and kind of like they feel like, oh my God, I am new. Let's go back to where I am doing it.
Refreshing.
So,
Yeah.
and again, we all rush, so we don't need to tell people to leave because I know people is always busy doing
They're not going to sit
something.
there for 2 or 3 hours.
But
Because I've had people, somebody went to Portugal recently, not Spain, but it's Portugal, and the same sort of thing, little cafes and stuff. And people will sit for hours, and they don't keep coming over saying, can I get you something else? You done? You ready for the bill? They accept that you're going to sit there for a while. That's part of the culture. You might not buy that much, but you're going to sit there for a while, and you're going to come back day after day after day. As opposed to here, it's fast food, it's drive-through, it's quick turnaround, it's in and out. We want to serve a lot of people quickly, and you lose a lot of, I don't know, you don't build a community. Maybe you build a community of happy customers that come buy your pastries, that come buy your coffee. They like what you create, but you're creating an atmosphere and an experience too. That's a whole different thing
exactly.
here.
That's a different thing, and the customers express that through our reviews. Thanks God, we've been 5 stars since we started it, and
Oh,
now
I
to
bet.
today.
Well, I can't find a place like this. I got to go. I feel like driving in my car right now and going to check it out. Where are you in Ontario?
And I'm sorry. in Ontario.
Are you in a shopping center? Are you in
I am in a
downtown?
shopping
Or
center. Exactly, we have our neighbor Starbucks.
and see, now
It's
that
exactly.
would be, it would seem to be counterintuitive. I can go to Starbucks, I can go to your place. Did you consciously try and pick a place next to a Starbucks to say we'll give you similar but a different experience, or was that just by accident?
I don't have any experience on this kind of industry before. I never think of a Starbucks being my competitor or being someone that is going to help me or not help me with the business. But at the end, people is always asking me, how comes you ended having like
Yeah,
a creperie with coffee shop and candies in front of a Starbucks? And I said, I never think about them. I think about how I'm going to make this to succeed, and that's it.
isn't that
And it
amazing?
was really interesting because we opened in 2019. The first year was a challenge to create the menu, to make customers happy, and to kind of create, a difference between being in an office working with customers the way we were doing it before, than now being walking and doing many different things at the same time, and making sure
Do
that
you
the
ever do
customers are.
off-site? Can I hire you to do a catering, to do a corporate event, to bring the stuff
Yeah,
somewhere?
now we're doing that as well. But again, so the first year was a challenge, and then when we think that we finished the first year, we survived the first year with all the headache and everything that we went through.
Yeah.
So 2020 starts COVID. COVID was for us like, now what's gonna happen, right? So none of us was ready for something like that. That this pandemic led us to grow in many different ways, and then for us to need to close the dining, for us to need to do different way to do things, it was like
The other challenge I would see, and I'm not trying to be difficult here, but boy, this flies in the face of most businesses. Most businesses do not want, they want to serve, if you're going to be food, in the food business. I was in the restaurant business for a long time. It's hard to make it if you're just either a nighttime business or a daytime business or a morning business. In other words, if you're a donut shop, most of them close by the afternoon because nobody wants to come in at 10 o'clock and get donuts. In reverse, if you're a bar, nobody wants to come in at 10 o'clock in the morning and have a drink. So, you're trying to find these 3 meals a day where you get people that come in for some reason for breakfast, and then they come in for lunch, and then they come in at night. Yours would seem to be kind of a middle of the day business, maybe a morning business, but let's get my coffee and my sweet. But I wouldn't think people are coming by at 8 o'clock at night.
yeah, actually our hours are from 9 to 9.
9 to 9.
So
Okay.
we have customers coming at 9 as well. Believe it or not, it's 8 o'clock. They come in and they want to have a pastry, they want to have a crepe with coffee, and they really enjoy it. So
Wow.
our hours are at that time as well. So we have pretty much till breakfast, lunch, and dinner for whoever wants to come at that
Even though
time.
you're not really serving dinner per se, you're not serving burgers and French fries or something here.
Exactly, exactly. We do have again on the 2020 with the COVID. People was asking us for some savory items, right? So we are supposed to have 100% sweets. That's what my contract says and all that.
Right.
But then I decided to start incorporating sandwiches or basically a panini with meat,
Yeah,
things like that.
that would make logical sense because that I might get as in addition to the pastry. I come for the pastry,
So
but I might as well have a
we
little
have
lunch with it.
a Mexican torta, which is bread with meat, with veggies, with some jalapeno and things like that, and people love it. So I talked to the owner or the administrator of the shopping center. I said, you know what, this is what is happening to me. So for me to be able to continue with the business and to give you, the payment of the lease every month, so I have to incorporate this through COVID. And she's like, yeah, just let me know. We're gonna change the contract, and then the health department decided to let us to be open because we have something that is considered food
Yeah,
as sandwiches, and we were open through COVID, through the entire COVID season. So we didn't
wow.
close no one day.
I wasn't even going to go there. I'm trying to open an in-person experience during a time when we're all at home. That had to be a challenge too, but you made it. You've now got a second location. Is that what brought you to the SBDC? Suddenly you thought, hey, this can't all just be in our head. We got to learn how to run this thing as a business if we're going to run two remote locations. And those aren't next to each other. You're in Highland, that's up past San Bernardino up there,
Yeah.
and Ontario, that's got to be a good 30, 40 minutes apart or something there.
Exactly, exactly. So again, through the process of the COVID, we survived COVID, we continue with the business, and then I decided to start this second location because my lease contract was to be end, and I was not aware about how it ended working for me because sometimes the leases increase too much, and
Yeah.
it's 2,000 square feet, so I'm paying a lot on the lease. So I just said, well, I can have a second location in case something happened here. I can have like a, you know,
Backup.
a
Right.
backup that can help us with the second location. And I decided to start looking for options on the loan. And then I got the loan, and then I started working with SBDC on the process of opening the second location where we are right now.
Because that's now you got to, yeah. I didn't even think about how you financed the first one. You probably did it kind of bootstrap, shoestring, and now you're going to do it the right way. And you got to buy equipment because the restaurant was already there. Now you got to buy the cooking, the back. That's where all the money goes into the back end of the business here, and all the things to comply with the health department, 3-compartment sinks and the mop sinks and changing and all the other the tile floors and all the other stuff you got to do to whenever you're getting into the food. But quite a lot. Having built some bars and restaurants, a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of difficulty getting all that back end of the business. The front end's what makes you the money, but the back end is where all the money goes, in my experience.
So again, I decided, so well, I learned through the process of, having this first location, and I knew how to run everything from the beginning to the end. And I said, I just moved this system from here to here. And I decided to start, with the process and everything. But it ended that my hope and my plan was to open in 3 months, but it ended up being 9 months.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the health department.
Permits, health departments, all that stuff, all those things hold you up. They're all slow and delay planning and revisions and all these things. Oh, yeah, trust me. Everybody thinks, I'll just go rent a location. Sometimes you're paying rent on it and you're not even open yet here.
Yeah, so SBDC was kind of like my support in a way that I was like, oh, now they're asking me for this. It's like, well, that's what they're asking you to do. So now let's work on that, and now let's work on this, and
right.
And it was a big challenge.
And who was your SBDC consultant through this process?
Jay Alice.
Okay, Jay. And Jay's out of what regional center here? Where does he work out?
It's right here in San Bernardino.
Oh, the San Bernardino Center. Okay, good. Yeah, because Highland and San Bernardino are right next to each other here. All right. Wow. So Jay walked you through all this, and every time something came up, you said, okay, I got it. Let's figure it out. Let's tackle it in one step at a time. How did you find the SBDC? What brought you to them?
Searching online.
Searching online. So, there you go. Looking for help.
I need help. I need to find out how can I make this to happen, and who can help me. And then I was ended to going to the page of the SBDC, and then start looking and booking an appointment, and that's when he started kind of directing me and guiding me through the process.
Were they as amazed as I am? Oh, you just out of nowhere built a brand new kind of business, and it's a success in the toughest time in the world to do this during COVID. You built an in-person experiential pastry bar, coffee bar, and now you want to build a second one. And wow, it's just, yes, I think they would be amazed. I'm amazed.
Yes, he always mentioned that to me, but at the end, he was always telling me, that I think it's good for us to always grow and to learn, to have a plan and to always kind of like be able to say, I learned through this mistake, and now I'm going to be able to do this, even though we're blessed because we have the store open and we continue doing and pleasing the customers and all that.
And how do you convince your whole family to get involved in it? Usually the kids are like, Dad, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work in the family candy business here, whatever. How do you get them excited? Did they see this as their inheritance? Did they see this as a generational thing that they're going to have their kids work in themselves? This will be the engine of family growth here. This will be the new family wealth generator here.
Well,
when there's 20 of them.
One of the things that they see is that we work so hard all the time, but at the beginning was a challenge for us because, again, we have no employees. So it was only my wife and I.
Sure.
Right? Running the business the first year. And then again, COVID starts. They have to be with us because they were 10 and 12 years old.
There you
go. They have to be with us taking classes.
Right.
So we were able to kind of be involved on all single aspects of their time, and then at the end, they see us struggling sometimes because we have a lot of customers. And my daughter was like, I'm going to help you to do this, and I'm going to help you to do that.
Sure.
And they start getting involved in preparing and creating things. And
Kids
they
often
learn.
think that's fun if you don't force them into it. My grandsons are always like, "Let me help you, Grandpa," and they're just like, "Okay, great. You want to help me bang this wood panel in or something? You want me to fix the car? Here we go." And somehow I think if you force them into it, then they resist. But if they offer to help and jump in, particularly if they see you sweating and working, then it becomes a source of pride, a
That's
family thing. Yeah.
exactly what happened because I always ask them, this is an option for you. If you really don't want to be in the business and be, we have a little lodge on top of the business, little space for them.
Yeah, you can
And
go up
they're like,
there
no,
and
I
watch
want to
video
help. I'm
games.
gonna be doing. And my daughter, she was 12. She's like, I can be the cashier. That's not a, and she was so good, doing the cashier. My
Wow.
son, okay, I'm gonna be preparing some of the drinks. I know how to do the frappuccinos. I know how to do that. So don't worry, I'll do that. And they were
Yeah.
helping us. So and I always mention them. It wasn't because us or I mean I can handle that myself by myself. I have to hire people, and at that time I was not able to hire because the business started it, and we had to build the menu, build the things that we needed to do, and kind of create everything. So they were part of everything. So my daughter, for example, she was telling me, for her was so hard COVID because she started, having the situations with being at home all the time and graduate from eighth grade at home
Yeah.
and having that hard time, right? But now that she's going to college, she talks about the experience, saying, you know what, thanks to the business, thanks to my dad and my mom that involved me into that, I can speak freely to people. I was at 12 years old taking care of customers, talking to them, and feel free to say,
Thrown into the
whatever.
deep end of the pool, you got to start swimming here. Exactly here. Well,
Exactly.
I think it's an amazing tale, and you say it so humbly, so casually, like, well, we needed a job, so we decided to create a job. We didn't know anything about this industry, but we started figuring it out. We struggled. We did it during the hardest time ever for retail in-person experiences because everything was shut down by COVID, but we hung in there. We brought our kids along because we had to, and pretty soon they jumped. I mean, it was necessity is the mother of invention. When you have to do something, you figure it out. And it sounds like you figured out how to build a very fun, very successful business that's now in its second store and promises to grow into more stores and could maybe turn into the family business that goes on past this generation to the next generation here. That's the
Amen.
American dream. You just lived it right there. Oh my goodness. That's an
And
amazing tale.
yeah, and again, we're Catholic Christians. We know the values of the things that you have to always make with love, with the passion.
Yeah.
Having the quality, having the customer satisfaction,
Well,
and
I'm a
that's
good
how.
Irish Catholic too, but sometimes that love and passion leaves at the front door of the church here, and everybody's cutting each other off and flipping each other off, and I don't know that we always carry that through in our daily life. That view of love your neighbor and help your community here. There's an aspiration. We sit in the pew and we think about it, but when we go off, we go phew, and then we get back to the hectic doggy dog world here. You're living your faith too. I sense that.
Yeah,
This isn't.
that's another thing that makes us to always understand that it's about serving. It's about making sure that the customer is happy with whatever he decides to take or to eat or so that's
Gosh,
our main goal and our main vision in
I
each and
would
all
take
this.
my hat off, but then you'd see all my crazy hair here. I take my hat off to you symbolically, sir. You and your family have done something amazing. You prove once again that immigrants to this country like yourself are the ones that come believing in its full potential and take advantage of the opportunities so often and just create these out of nothing, these little entrepreneurial businesses out of love of family, out of necessity to do something, and you just figure it out as you go along. And in your case, it has a certain feeling of warmth and love to it here, to your customers, to your community, to your family. What a great story! I mean, I just love this tale here. And I but say nothing about the concept. I want to go to a chocolate bar here. Give us the address. Where is it? How do we find the chocolate bar? Either one of them. And can we buy any of this stuff online, or do I have to come to your place, actually drive there
No,
and order it?
I was able to learn how to build my websites because I built my website for Heavenly Nuts and Sweets, and then I decided to build my website for the chocolate bar, and I add a car on it. Since we have a contract with other companies like DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats, and they charge me 30% of my profit,
Right?
I decided to create my own website, and people is ordering now to my website as
Have you ever
well.
thought of, you can listen to the last episode about California Shop Small, the initiative by the regional SVDC to create an online marketplace. If you haven't talked to your SVD consultant about that, the SVDC has this program where they'll get you in for free and give you this free marketing. It's sort of like a little mini Amazon where people go buy handcrafted stuff, a lot of food stuff, a lot of clothing stuff, things make. I mean, stuff that people make. And the idea is to shop locally, shop with these small vendors, and buy stuff that you can't get anywhere else. You should check that out if you haven't already.
Thank you for the information. Yeah, I'm gonna search on that. Again, it's about looking for options so that can help us to continue with the business, because we went through the inflation, we went through gas prices, when everything went up on price, like we were like, oh my God, how are we gonna survive?
Oh, you couldn't have done it at a worse time. I mean, people are staying at home. They're trying to cut costs because of inflation. So maybe desserts are the first thing you cut out, and sweets and all those kinds of things. I don't have to have a sweet. I think I do, but I probably can live without it. And so but you're creating something that keeps calling people back. That it is like a calling. It's almost, I hate to make it sound too religious, but it is kind of a calling for you and your family and the community, and the call to the customers to find a peaceful place in this sea of insanity that swirls around us here every day here, the sea of rush and craziness, and just sit down here. From us to you, we made this for you, a little gift, a little sweet.
Yes. But again, for fostering the community, it's a Catholic Christian family, we deeply value the significance of community, and in every aspect of the business, we involve the community, because my daughter ended to start, kind of getting the idea and working on getting a nonprofit, and she works kind of like the nonprofit, and she named it Heavenly Aid Foundation. So
your daughter's creating her own nonprofit to give back to, on top of all this. Oh my goodness, you guys are like models for all of us here. Oh my goodness, here, model citizens here.
And so again, she starts saying, that we should start, kind of working with customers, telling them that if they can bring us a blanket to kind of go and offer it to the people that they're not less fortunate on the street, we can offer them a free crepe. And then I said, yeah, of course we can do that. So she started with that idea, and now it's the third year that we have.
I should hook you up with some other people. When it's over with, I'll connect you with a couple other people. We have a lot of nonprofits that come through here, and I'm thinking of things like, I can't think of his name here. I'll think of it off the top of my head. But he was a chef, an executive chef for the Four Seasons, and now he has a food truck and a food distribution network for homeless. And his idea is that the homeless don't have to eat crappy food. The poor don't have to eat just cheap food. They can eat good food, healthy food. And so he not only makes interesting food for them that's flavorful, but he actually and then he's created a chef's program where he's teaching people that are homeless how to get a job and get into this. Bill Bracken's Kitchen, that's what it is. And I'm sure he would love the idea of incorporating sweets into this. Yeah, because you think of poor people, they go to a shelter and they get a meal. It's probably pretty vanilla. It's probably pretty plain. It's probably pretty dull. It's probably not that tasty. It might be good for them, but it's just real basic food. Why not have something that gives them a little joy, a little sweet, a little something with it here?
Yes.
Put a smile on their face.
Example, this past week, a day before Thanksgiving, we as a family with other families that are customers of us, we decided to bring them food to here in the Inland Empire, exactly in San Bernardino, and we kind of offer around 200 plates of food, stopping in different streets and different places. So my daughter, my son, friends of them, and kind of like started sharing the blessings and sharing the good things, So some of the things that we work with the community and kind of start talking to them about the importance of us sharing, with the less fortunate. And my daughter is
a couple of years ago, you're struggling not to be one of the less fortunate, to keep this thing alive, to have it feed your family, just to make it work. And now as it succeeds and you grow into another one, you're quickly sharing that wealth and abundance with other people here. That's an amazing story. I'm getting chills just talking to you about all this stuff. You're making me feel bad. I should be doing these kinds of things. We should all be giving back like this. My hat's off to you here.
Again, it's because one of the things that we always talk about it is about, it's always a need out there, and we can make this to happen. Right now in Highland, I just was telling, I have some teenagers here as an employee. I said I needed to start working in my toy drive and start kind of looking into options for customers to kind of share a little bit, and we can offer them a free coffee, a free crepe, whatever they wanna, just kind of like for them having that opportunity to share.
Yeah.
So I guess it's something that we were as a family, and we work together in all these projects, and we always kind of like see that those little details, and making sure that they have that really nice meal, like you're saying,
good meal,
fresh food maybe, with a little pastry and coffee and all that, so they feel so well and so good that we are always looking for options and kind of what we can do better, so.
All right. I wish we could talk forever. We've gone about 10 minutes over here. How do we get in touch with you? Tell us the website, the chocolate bar, and we'll end there.
Well, the chocolate bar in the city of Ontario is located at 1520 North Mountain Avenue, Suite 114, Ontario, California, 91762. We open every day. The only day we close earlier than 9 is Mondays. We decide to have some more hours for us.
Yeah. Monday's a slow business in the bar business, restaurant business. Yeah. All right. And then is there a website?
The website is www.thechocolatebar.us. That's the website that is running.
.us, not .com. Thechocolatebar.us. Okay. And there's a place that people can order and buy some of the stuff. And if
they have the option to order in the two locations, either Highland or Ontario, and they can either have the option to pick up the order that they place, or they can have DoorDash delivering for them.
So you got to be within a certain radius. They're not going to ship it to San Diego, but all right.
So yes.
Amazing. So you say yes. I say yes. You said yes to the opportunity presented. You jumped in. You figured it out. And now it's grown to success, and much success to you and your family. This is a journey of love, the chocolate bar. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this today with us. I'm very touched by the whole story here.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for letting us to talk about this and make sure that people understand that it's opportunity out there.
And this is more, there is opportunity, and if you're looking for a place, go support businesses like this. That's why this show exists, not just to teach others how to do it. Don't just give you a fish, teach you how to fish, but to hopefully inspire people to support these sorts of businesses, local businesses, because this is a real passion. This is a real give back. It's a beautiful story. And I can't imagine why everybody wouldn't want to jump in those areas, wouldn't want to support you and ensure your success. All right, particularly as you share it with the world. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for your support, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.
As we conclude another episode of the Profit Talks podcast, we hope we've empowered your entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out to us to connect with our experts, and let's take your business to the next level. Keep those dreams alive, keep pushing forward, and stay tuned for more. And if you liked what you heard in today's podcast and you want your business to reach new heights, just contact us at profittalkspodcast.org or call us at 1-800-616-7232. That's 1-800-616-7232. So until next time, keep thriving.